Hello, YouTube! This is Maddox123 Plays. I am not dead like some people thought I was. I am well and alive. Yeah, no one really. I don't have enough subscribers to have anyone think I'm dead. So yeah. A lot of people, have been messaging me on my Maddox123 TV, whether it be spam or just hi. But recently on Maddox123 TV, not Plays, because Plays kind of stands out, and I don't know why, because it has the most subscribers out of all of them. But hey, you never know. Basically, I am gonna be talking about my next Let's Play. It's going to be a Mother game. And actually, it's going to be the first game. I know what you're saying. Oh, do the first game first. That doesn't make any sense. And for anybody that's not familiar with Mother or Mother Let's Players, they tend to do Earthbound first for some reason. Chugga Conroy, I get because he was trying to grab attention to the game. But after that, people doing them out of order was kind of ridiculous, and it didn't need to be done. So yeah, if you were doing it something like Chugga Conrad to raise awareness of the series, you're probably gonna use the one with Ness because most people know Ness, and I haven't heard anybody ever say anything about Ninten, who is the protagonist of Mother. Um, Basically, this Let's Play is to kind of show. A lot of people think that Mother 1 is it's a scary game. It's so hard. Oh, the Duncan's factory is really hard. I have to inform you that people that say that, I think that they think it's hard, but in all honesty, the game is pretty easy. You know what? Mario 2, that's a hard game. Zelda 2, that's a hard game. Mother 1, that's a sort of hard game. I don't think it's really a hard game. I think the real part that is tricky is sometimes you're gonna have things like, I don't want to spoil anything. Like someone might randomly ask for a canary, and you might think, oh, it's a side quest, but then it ends up being something that you'll have to do to progress in the main game. I think that's the thing that people complain about a lot. And to tell you the truth, um, you're using a Let's Play or something to do this anyway, because how else would you know that? So it's stop complaining, oh, you'd have to use a Let's Play to know that. You know what? That's just some complaint that some people have. I am not disagreeing with you. I think that is a little ridiculous, but it was in Japan, and things that challenged your mind like that were pretty popular. I realize that I've been recording for 3 minutes and 14 seconds, so I'm probably just going to kind of narrow this down because I want to get to recording the first episode. Basically, if you don't know what Mother Earthbound or Mother 3 is, they're games created by Shigesato Itoi. Shigesato Itoi, for anybody who doesn't know who that is, which is the majority of my audience, was a Japanese game developer, and before he really did anything in gaming, he'd appear on a lot of Japanese shows. One that I can recall was him trying a bunch of soups. I'm probably going to get a bunch of comments saying, oh, that wasn't what the show was about. Yeah, I know, but that's what comes to mind when I think of Shigesato Itoi. Basically, he has stated that although he loves the Mother series, he does not want to continue to work on any games because you can definitely see that they're well worked on, and it looks really hard, and it would be really hard to develop a game with that kind of emotion. And I sound really gay right now. Um, or It's really the story that is a lot of work to come up with. So, I kind of say to some people that say, oh, there should be a Mother 4, you know, would you rather have a game that is, continuing on with the series, or would you rather have a game that was thought out really well? That's what I say to people that are like, oh, Mother 4. And I was probably talking about something and just kind of got off the topic. So, yeah. basically, the series overview is that it's a game created by Shigesato Itoi. Um, the game was very successful in Japan. In 1990, Nintendo decided, hey, let's bring over the game Mother. However, that sounds kind of weird, so we're going to change the name to Earthbound. They advertised it once in Nintendo Power, and there was some other advertising I hear that was done for the game, but I really don't know anything about that, so don't quote me on that. So yeah, after they were working on it for a long time, they had finished it. But by the time it would have been out, and it would have also been the time the Super Nintendo was coming out. So, they were kind of saying, hey, if the Super Nintendo's coming out, we shouldn't really release this because it won't sell so well. There are a lot of people that are mad that they finished the freaking game and then they just decided, hey, we're not going to put any more work into this. We finished it, so yeah, let's give ourselves a pat on the back. You know what? We're done. Well, I kind of see their reasoning. The game would have included a strategy guide, similar to Earthbound, and it would have been similar priced. And the real reason that a lot of people think Earthbound failed is because of its price, and it would have been the same price. So for an NES game, that's going to be at least $69.99 retail price. And the Super Nintendo is out now, and developers and kids in general are looking towards the SNES. You're not gonna have a game that is just kind of, not. It might be advertised well by Nintendo. You never know, but it's most likely not going to be because their attention's going to be on the SNES. That's $70 just kind of sitting in some random hobby shop sell. You can't expect it to sell well. So I kind of get their reasoning. But I think it would have been cool for at least like Nintendo Power subscribers or something to get a copy of the game. Uh, you know, the game was pretty good. So in 2001 or 2003, actually, let me check on that before I get a million people telling me, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't know that." In oh okay. It was 1998. The fan translation group known as Demiforce had a prototype cartridge of the game, and it was on the internet, and it was basically a beta cart, and they had a fan base that was actually able to come up with enough money to buy the game. The project was a success, and soon after, they dumped a ROM on the internet. However, the unmodified version of the game did not work properly. Many features, such as the couple of debugging features that I'm not going to go into, and the game just not working after a certain point because Nintendo had a piracy detect on it. So if your game, even if your game is really really screwed up, there's a certain point in the game where it will to try to detect that, and if it is, it just won't let you play any further. Um, so yeah, um, there that is what happened. So they eventually made some edits. They put a 0 at the end of the Earthbound logo because many people were kind of confused by that. Actually, not really, but just to avoid confusion anyway. Um, and they had also, I think they did a couple other things, but for the most part, that was the only thing. And they modified all the glitches and the bugs that were going on with the game because once again, this was a prototype. It was not the finished version. Even though the finished version exists somewhere, you know. So yeah. Also, the game on the Game Boy Mother 1 Plus 2 contained all of the changes made in the prototype cartridge. So, yeah, I have wasted at least 9 minutes and 47 seconds of your life talking about this, so I'm just going to end it off here. Uh, be sure to stay tuned. And if you don't watch this whole thing and just skip to the end, I don't blame you. I would have done that. So see you guys later. Bye.